First off, I grabbed an old brown curtain to use as the loincloth. Then I folded it and began to do the section that I call the girdle section, which is the section that goes above the loincloth and the lower waist. I made sure to glue all the seams together to make sure it had a lot of durability when being used. After gluing the sections of the girdle piece, I began to cut off the excess layers of material to use for the bottom part of the loincloth. I then hot glued what was left dangling to the top of the girdle piece. And after that, the girdle portion of the loincloth was finished. I then used the rest of the materials to start cutting off the base layers of the bottom piece of the loincloth. And once I had my two sections cut out, I layered them over top each other and I started gluing them together. And when they were dry, they came out coming like this. Solid foundation piece. I then glued the top and the bottom half together, making sure to use a lot of hot glue for durability. Then I added a belt to the top part of the girdle to make sure it was a little more stable. And for the last piece of the loincloth, I found a thick belt. Then it was accessory time. I used an old belt to make the crown for Conan, and I bedazzled the crown with a few bronze buttons to make it look a little better. I then took the last of the cloth to the loincloth, and I measured my sword that I was going to make a sheath for. I tipped off the end and made sure it was stable enough to hold the sword. I then glued to the tightness of the sword and reinforced it with a couple cloth bands. I added a hook system for the belt, a couple bits of leather just to hold the actual hilt of the sword, and some fur at the top, just for effects. And with the sword inside, it came out looking like this. I then took two of the necklaces on the left and then merged them together to make one necklace on the right. I've had a couple gauntlets to wear on eBay for very cheap, about $7 a piece. I then found a black wig, an old bracelet that I broke apart to make an arm banister, and a dagger. The boots were made out of fur boot covers and a window shield washer that I found at the dollar store. Locked in with some spare cloth, they look like this. And after that, the Conan costume was complete.
Between the time when the ocean drank Atlantis and the rise of the sons of Arius, there was an age undreamed